What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about Ipoe, which is merging with Sofi. We're going to discuss the latest news, look over a couple articles and the charts, and just talk about what could be potentially coming up for this company in the future. So if you do enjoy these videos, feel free to drop it a like and hit subscribe, and check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. All right, so starting with the Sofi Investor Relations Twitter account. This is a new account, so follow this if you want to keep up with any of the investor relations news that's coming out. This has to do with them refiling their amended S4. This came out 2 hours ago, and this is just reflecting the new accounting guidance regarding SPAC warrants. They say they look forward to hearing back from the SEC once they clear any comments. The next step would be to request effectiveness, followed by mailing out the proxy for a duration of 3 weeks for shareholders to vote. So I know we all anticipated April to have the vote. It sounds like this could happen mid to late May. And then, I always like to give SPACs enough time. I like to overestimate when the merger could be official. So I'm saying sometime in June, the ticker would change. That could be, it could be longer, it could be shorter. But anything I am playing short term, as in call options, I'm playing out to 2022 or 2023. So this doesn't really affect things right now. I'm just accumulating more shares and possibly leaps on any of these dips. So just to clarify, what's been going on with warrants in the stock market and regarding SPACs is that I believe that warrants used to be accounted for as assets, but now there's a question on, are warrants assets or liabilities? So the update with Sofi and what they just did on their S4 is they're basically moving the warrants to liabilities on the balance sheet, and this is just fixing the financial reporting. So that is the update. It's not that big of an update, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But that is what I've gathered so far. So while we're still on Twitter, I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I recently came across from King Tut SPACs. Follow his account. He is always talking about different SPACs. But basically, Galileo, which is Sofi's tech platform, is looking to expand their product mix with buy now, pay later, perfectly positioning Sofi to compete with the likes of Affirm and Klarna. And then another thing I just found out is that Sofi actually led the seed funding round and is a major investor in the crypto platform BlockFi since 2018, which I think is relevant nowadays with Coinbase going IPO and all these altcoins blowing up. So a lot of people's attention is on crypto. I know Sofi just added crypto to their platform as well, and I just thought it was pretty cool, and I wanted to mention that here. Now touching on some of these articles, and what I've noticed with these articles is they're talking about Sofi post-merger. So in this one specifically, it says ease into IPOE, and it's going to be better post-merger basically. So while it's not boom time for SPACs anymore, it's best to not write off Sofi as all hype. And this has a promising target, much more promising than other names going public through SPAC, which I 100% agree with. I think this is one of the best ones going public through SPAC. Now, people are a bit skeptical right now because around 30% of its outstanding float sold short. So they have a high short interest, and that is leading people to bet against this SPAC. But I do believe that longer term, they have a lot of catalysts coming up for them. And especially once the deal goes through, they're going to be getting a lot more recognition from higher ups. I'm talking analysts, institutions. I think they're going to get price target upgrades. And just SPACs right now carry a bad reputation. We've seen a lot of crappy ones go public, and they're all kind of being grouped together. All right, now scrolling down on this article a little bit, deal valuation leaves room for multiple expansion. So it says, granted, SPAC bulls have leaned on future projections to justify today's valuations, which, I take those projections with a grain of salt, those investor presentations, although I do think Sofi will do awesome and continue to grow and hit those projections. I do take them with a grain of salt. As Meet Kevin has touched on before, those are definitely sales pitches, and they can boost those numbers on those projections. So don't take them too, literal. But it says here, given the rich forward price to earnings ratio of both PayPal and Square, there's plenty of runway for multiple expansion for Sofi. Now this bodes well for investors in the long run, which I am long on this company. I'm not really trading this short term. Like I said, any call options that I will trade are out, years out. And, in the short term, we could see more volatility. SPACs are getting beaten down. We could see more selling off. Now, I prefer to buy this one in the 13 to 15 range. I think that's a solid place to buy, and there's limited downside there. And yes, enthusiasm is fading for SPACs, so we could see more downward pressure. And this deal still doesn't have a date. We could get more delays. So just be prepared in the short term for that volatility and make sure you're able to stomach that selling off. Or maybe you should wait for this deal to go through and then buy after the deal. So taking a look at the daily chart on IPOE, we can see here that it's starting to break out of this downtrend a little bit. Obviously, all SPACs have been beaten down, so it was likely that these were going to bounce back a bit. Today had pretty decent volume. The volume was 3.14 million, and average volume as of late has been 2.81 million, so that's a nice thing to see. Currently, it's around $16 after hours, where earlier this week we saw IPOE dip down to under $15, which I think was a great time to buy as well. The MACD is starting to cross up. The RSI is oversold and starting to head back up. So I would like to see volume continue to increase on this. And hopefully we start to head higher and bounce back closer to that $19 range. All right, so wrapping things up, this is a long-term investment for me. However, in the coming months, we have quite a few catalysts. We have the merger finalization and the ticker change, which I do believe will bring some positive attention to the company once it's de-SPACed. We have the bank charter approval. Now we know they just acquired a bank. We also have more acquisitions to come with the $2.5 billion they're getting from this merger. Q1 earnings and numbers and growth projections to come out. We also have updated crypto and brokerage offerings in the coming months. And when student loan refinancing happens, when student loan payments start happening again come September, or October, whenever they resume that, their site will likely get some more traffic to it and more attention. So looking at some leaps, obviously shares are going to be safer, but I am heavily paying attention to these call options. 2022, January isn't technically a leaps anymore. However, you could buy some in the money leaps or far out calls, So $10 or $15, you could sell covered calls against them. Now, I know premium's trash right now, but as volume picks up, implied volatility picks up, and these contracts will increase as the price head higher. And then that will be nice to sell some covered calls against and likely collect some nice premium. I'm personally looking at January 2023. I want to pick up this $20 call for January 2023. Ideally, I would like to get this under $400. I think that'd be an absolute steal for this contract. Maybe pick up a couple. So that's what I'm looking at right now. And hopefully, I believe futures are down right now. So hopefully we get some selling. I'm okay with that in the short term. I want to be able to pick up these contracts for cheap and then bank on them in the coming months. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just wanted to drop the latest news on IPOE SoFi and what's going on with the upcoming merger and any other news regarding SoFi. So let me know below if you are bullish on the company, if you're invested, or are you waiting for the ticker to change to possibly consider investing in this one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description and have a good one.